So let's talk about project management. Mike Thompson, thanks for coming in today. It was exciting to have you in class a year ago, and now you're at Wipro doing some work using some of these skills of project management that we were looking at in class. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I come from a military background. I spent 5 years in the 101st Airborne Division managing projects, people, material in between Southwest Asia and the United States. I think that if I had had an understanding of project management better before I had done that, I could have been a better steward of those resources, maximize their usage, manage them a lot better to better outcomes.
So I think what's interesting there too is, so you had some work experience, you were getting your MBA at Goizueta, and you decided to take the project management class. We conducted a project in that class, and then you got interested in taking the PMP exam. I'd like to dig into that a little bit as to what does it take to take the PMP exam? What do you have to do to qualify just to take the exam?
Well, I really became interested in project management in the private sector, having done it in a military setting, and I wanted to understand how that was different, which is what initially drew me to the course. And then I realized that I had done a lot of project management previously. As I learned how to better process my experiences and get my own lessons from them throughout the course, I thought it would be good to credentialize my ability to deliver on project management.
That makes sense.
And so I wanted to be able to credentialize that for a company to show them that I understood these things. And the Project Management Institute offers the Project Management Professional Certification. It requires 4,500 hours of project management experience.
That's
over
a lot.
3 years. Well, it might seem like a lot, but if you figure that at your normal job you're working 40 hours a week, if you work 50 weeks a year, that's 2,000 hours right there. You should easily be able to do that over 3 years if you're the kind of caliber person that's coming to a top MBA program such as Goizueta.
Okay, so a lot of normal work type activities that have a definite beginning with an outcome objective at a definite end would qualify for experience that they're looking for to take the exam.
That's exactly right. I looked back at my experience managing diverse projects, and I specifically looked at the inputs, the techniques and the processes that I applied to those inputs, and the output that I was able to deliver for some amount of value to the organization. I recorded the hours that went along with that, talked to the project sponsors I had from the time, and submitted that as my documentation for the Project Management Professional Certification.
Which sounds like something that most people could probably do. How much does it cost? How much do you in general, how much does this cost to take the exam?
Well, an interesting thing about that is that as a student, you get a discounted membership into the Project Management Institute, and then you get a discounted rate to take the test if you're a Project Management Institute member. So you're looking at a ballpark of around $400.
Mm-hmm. And so I think the exam, if you're not a member, is $500 and something. So really the student membership is about $40. So if you're going to take the exam, you might as well join PMI at the same time. That's
exactly right. Yes.
So let's see, you need 4,500 hours across 3 years, experience-wise. That's if you have a bachelor's degree, which everybody in our MBA class pretty much does. Then you need to have
a 35-hour course, which was this
our
course
for covers me. That.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pay the fee and apply to take the course. Once they qualify you to take the course, how do you study? How much time does it take? How nervous should you be about passing?
I found that this course really prepared me a solid base for taking the test. I additionally got How to Pass the PMP Exam on the First Try by Andy Crow. That, and I'm not plugging his book, but I am saying that it had some very good practice questions that helped me get a feel for the questions that I would see on the exam. The PMBOK, the Project Management Book of Knowledge, is not in and of itself a study guide for the Project Management Professional Certification. Instead, it should be seen as a reference guide. Yeah. In fact, related to the values of project management, which is about 15% of the exam, you will not see anything in the PMBOK. Mm-hmm. So you really need to supplement that. I know we cover a lot of it in this course, and then it is also in the Andy Crow book.
Well, I've heard good things about that book, and I understand you can get it as cheap as $32 on half.com, so it's not too bad. You could buy it on Amazon or where have you. So if it's going to take me a few days at least of concentrated studying,
yes, I would definitely say that.
So it's not too bad. It's not like taking the MCAT or SAT or something.
I would realistically say that if you just spent the last year or two at an MBA program studying for term ends, doing major projects, it's not anything more than that would be required for that. Yeah. And in fact, looking at the cost, if you've just taken an MBA and you've done 80 to 90% of the work required to get a PMP, it almost doesn't make sense not to pursue that certification if you're looking to do something in the project management area.
So on that end, there's a benefit aspect. Some companies don't care if you get this PMP credential, but some do. I know that some companies will require the credential in order to be a project manager at a mid to upper level, like at IBM, or in the federal sector. Sometimes to qualify for contracts, a consulting agency has to have someone who is a PMP running the project. What about at your company, at Wipro? How do you see the benefits of your PMP credential playing out?
Well, the benefits of my credential specifically go into my billing, because a lot of times they're looking for a project manager who can take a tough task and turn around sometimes a bad situation or a failing project and apply good project management techniques and processes to turn that around. So while it presents you some very interesting opportunities as far as some projects that you end up going to, it also makes you extremely billable and very in demand, which if you're compensated on a bonus structure, as most consultants are, for your billability, then that directly translates back to you and probably makes project management the highest return on investment decision I made in my MBA program.
Wow, that's intense. I think the other question I would have then, they're not directly paying you. It's more what you're able to do as a result of having the PMP. People notice you. It sounds like one of the things I've heard from our senior alumni is that project management certification has been one of the keys to accelerate your career. You know, once you're in the door, it helps accelerate. It sounds like it has that kind of effect.
I'm coming into a consulting organization, probably onboarding at the same time as a lot of other MBAs from some fairly decent programs as well. And what sets me apart compared to them is having a PMP. So two consultants, or two, in my case I'm a manager, so two managers, both of them from a top-rated MBA program. What sets the two apart? If one has the PMP and one doesn't, and you need strong project management for a project, it's a no-brainer.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Is there anything else you want to suggest or comment on in terms of how you use the actual information? Can you give us an example of in your work right now where we learn concepts ranging from risk analysis and stakeholder management, and we learn tools for that. We learn about earned value. We learn about how to handle if you have to close down a project. Can you think of any example of how you're using it right now?
All of these are specific areas where I can add value to a client, which as a consultant is why I'm there in the first place. And I would say that a lot of people understand some processes and a lot of people understand some IT. And a lot of people understand some things about the organization, but people that can bridge those gaps and bring project management to people who are executing on processes and technology and bring a firm understanding of project management capabilities, that's a strategic enabler. And then you're able to have discussions with people at a higher level than other people are able to have.
So you're finding yourself bridging, in a sense, between various groups. The technology group or what sort of groups would those be?
Certain clients that are looking at things like Primavera projects, Microsoft projects, different things that might suit their organization. You can understand what the project manager perspective is and how you might need to enable those. So say if you're in a tech company that understands the tech answers behind that, but not as much the project management piece, you can bring that to the table. And a solid understanding in both areas makes you invaluable.
And of course we do cover that kind of content in our course.
We do. We do, because technology is a key enabler to project management.
Well, thanks a lot for coming in and sitting for this interview. I know it's going to be useful for students as they prepare for their careers after the MBA. I hope that it will ease some of their anxieties and help them see that they could get a PMP if they want to, and that the benefits could be substantial.
They most likely have done 80 to 90% of the work already.
Great, great. Thank you.